From fans making bets on when George R.R. Martin's next book will come out, to them criticizing him for being too absorbed in his other projects, George R.R. Martin isn't new to receiving backlash from the public, and he's been under fire recently as well. Why, you may ask? Let's talk about it. George R.R. Martin is the mastermind behind the Game of Thrones book series, and fans have been following his every move for years. He's written 5 books so far, with 2 more planned to complete the series. The last book, A Dance with Dragons, was published back in 2011. That's a long time ago, right? And now in 2023, we're still waiting for the next book, The Winds of Winter. I mean, sure, the pressure on George R.R. Martin to deliver the next book has been intense since the series ended, but fans were super disappointed with the final season of the show. So now they're counting on George to finally provide a satisfying conclusion to the story. I just hope he doesn't pull a J.K. Rowling and mess it all up with a weird twist. Either way, the wait time between books is straight up unacceptable for some fans, and they're obviously not going to stay quiet about it. They've been waiting for so long that they've started making bets on who will finish first, George or the White Walkers. It's not a good look, and it's got fans feeling like they're stuck in the Westeros equivalent of purgatory. Also, some fans are straight up salty about George taking on a ton of projects outside the books. They're feeling like he's spreading himself too thin and not giving enough attention to the main event. It makes sense though. People are worried that he's getting distracted by all the shiny new things, and that he's forgetting about the books that got him here in the first place. So that could lead to a detriment in terms of the quality of the next book. Like, I am being pretty liberal with this so far, but most fans aren't as gentle with their feelings as I am. Like, some fans are starting to get a little too tired, and they have started calling George R.R. Martin cringe over the show's finale. In response to the author's criticisms about the dragons in GOT, one user took to Reddit to say, "Can he just write the books?" He added that House of the Dragon is not a good enough show for him to prolong releasing the last 2 novels anymore. Another wrote, "It's just cringe now. Ouch." He continued by saying that Martin is just pretending to dislike GOT because of the audience hating the last season. At this point, literally everyone is begging him to just write his books. It's literally all they want from him. But George isn't one to stay quiet on matters like these. Last month, he spilled the beans on a few things on a live stream with Random House, like how the next novel in the series is going to be a big book. But he made no meaningful attempt to specify a completion date though. He added that it's a challenging book. It's probably going to be a larger book than any of the previous volumes in the series. Also, he did say that he was about 75% done with it. So I guess that's some good news at least. But since almost 12 years have passed since the release of A Dance with Dragons, I honestly get why some fans are disappointed by the lack of progress. As for people who want to give them a go, they'll take up a total of 344 chapters and more than 200 hours of your life. But since these puppies have been out since 2011, most people are practically rereading these books to their grandkids right now. The next book in the series needs to get a set publishing date soon, and Martin should maybe refrain from discussing the elements of GOT that he didn't exactly enjoy. No need for him to salt old wounds again and again. And while lots of fans agree with him, he's running the risk of becoming an old man ranting about how things were better in his day. One way to take the fans' aggression away was a new spin-off series. In the age of short attention spans, it could be a move powerful enough to distract them from GOT's failure. But only if it was good enough to pull it off though. And luckily enough, House of the Dragon was well received. Also, there are rumors of additional spin-off shows going around that will examine the different facets of life in Westeros. But a spin-off or one season of HOTD that doesn't live up to expectations might rile up the public once again. Throw in a bit more rage from the man behind the whole thing, and we could see the entire franchise getting tainted. So, and I'm saying this in the nicest way possible, maybe it's time for Martin to stop the cringe and just give us the books already. On that note, what exactly is he working on instead of just finishing the book? It's none other than the 10,000 Ships show. It's just one of the 3 ideas HBO has for new projects set in the Game of Thrones world. It basically follows the epic journey made by the warrior queen, Princess Nymeria, and her people, the Rhoynars. After getting dethroned by the Valyrian Freehold in the Second Spice War, they migrate from Essos to Dorne. And get this, it all goes down 1,000 years before the events of A Song of Ice and Fire. According to Deadline, Amanda Siegel, the talented writer behind Person of Interest, has been hired to write the series. So you know it's gonna be good. But like, when is it coming out? That's what I want to know. I mean, we're already chomping at the bit for House of the Dragon, so we need to know when we can get our fix of 10,000 ships. Also, this isn't all Martin's got up his sleeve. Picture this, a Paul W.S. Anderson adaptation of a George Martin story. Sounds fun, right? Well, that's pretty much what In the Forgotten Lands is all about. The director behind Resident Evil is taking on the challenge of adapting Martin's 1982 short story for the big screen. It will star Mila Jovovich and Dave Bautista. Like, can you even handle that? According to Variety, this movie is gonna be a straight-up epic, with sorceress Grey Alice being sent to the Lost Lands by a queen. And she's joined by Boyce to outwit and outfight all sorts of craziness. This fable explores all sorts of deep stuff like good versus evil, love versus loss, and more. Sounds wild, right? I can't wait to see it. Also, it's only fair to give credit where it's due, and that shout out goes out to the fandom. Despite the long wait, they're still going strong. Fans keep coming up with more and more theories than there are characters in the series. But it's not just about theorizing. They're also expressing their love for the series in other ways, by making fan art, writing fan fiction, and even cosplaying as their favorite characters. They're so invested in this world that they've practically become a part of it. Also, let's not forget the role that the fans play in keeping the franchise relevant and afloat. So, while the wait for the next book may be frustrating, it's important to remember that the fandom is what keeps this world alive. Without them, it's just a collection of books and a TV show. But with them, it's a living, breathing universe that will continue to inspire and captivate audiences for years to come. Well, that was all you needed to know about George R.R. Martin coming under fire again.